Hello, this is Max Drake. I just want to talk about this hairdresser reservation app that I'm actually doing. I posted it last night, and this is one that's similar. Sorry, I've got to get out of that particular one through there. I just need my page. I posted this particular one onto the site, or uploaded it to be considered for template. Now that took me ages to figure out where the hell I was supposed to be doing that. But you go to settings and you go to general, and down here is submit to template store. So that's where they'll actually consider to see what I've actually sent through is rubbish, or whether they'll accept it and put the prices on. I actually had to go and do the Stripe thing and set up a Stripe account, and I did all of that, so that actually plugged in quite nicely. So that was something that I needed to do. But when I was actually in here, this morning I was playing with it, and I found this little button here, which is for the duplicate, that I don't recollect actually having before. And you can copy the sheet, or you can keep the same sheet, and then you can duplicate the app. So that was really brilliant, because I just wanted to go and start messing around with some things. So there was a few other ideas that I wanted to explore. So the first thing I wanted to do was the first app was open. So the second one I actually want to make a little bit more exclusive for the people who I've got as regulars. So the idea is that I have a more general app, and then I have a more special app. So what am I offering my clients that is more special than that? So I actually just coloured these. I duplicated everything, the spreadsheet and the apps themselves, and then I just coloured them differently so that I've got them sitting up here. So when I started to look at doing the app, I started to look at, I just want to go through and blow this one here away, just so I've got the other one coming. Whoops, there goes something. Come back here. So the other one will turn up soon. So I wanted to start thinking, how can I actually do things a little bit different? So if somebody's actually logged in, so if they've done their logging through here, they'll see something different. So straight away, if they've logged in through here, I've got their details on the sheet through here. So I've got the client, and I've got their first, last names and everything like that. In my previous app, one of the things that bothered me was the fact that if I come in and I actually just pick a time here to do, I've got to fill in the form with this information through here. A couple of things through here that I wasn't a bit unhappy with. The phone will actually accept text, so I've got the wrong cell type for that, so I might have to go and blow that away and build it up again and check that. But I've made, you've got to have your name, you've got to have the phone number, and you've got to have the service required, that whatever you want. You still had to hit the switch, and then you actually had to submit. Now, if somebody submitted without hitting that switch, it would go and populate. But let's just do this now. This is at 12:30 p.m. on Monday the 27th. So if I submit that, the 12:30 is still showing. I'm just going to go and, whoops, put a bit more in and do something else. Now if I hit the switch and submit, the 12:30 has disappeared. So there's still a potential for double booking, and that was irking me. So at the end of the day, I did submit that to the template store, but I intend to do an improvement and send that one up there as well, and either replace or do something, but I'll talk with them about that. So that was an issue that I had. So that was the one that irked me the most. So I ended up with a concept. So once I'm actually logged in here on this one now I'm logged in, I've got the identity of the person that's actually in front. So all I actually need for them is one, what time slot do they want? And then what service do they want? Everything else. And then I found a way of solving it so that I can actually just do the submit button. So they don't actually have to do anything, and you can't get out of that form unless you hit the submit button. So it's a lot cleaner to do. They just pick a time, they pick what they want, and bang, and they can add a note in there if they wanted to actually add some extra information. Now currently on those buttons, if we just look at the button, if we look at the form, you'll see I actually haven't pulled across. I've got the user's email address and put it into the client name, but I haven't made a relationship between the client sheet and the booking sheet to actually come and populate all of the other things in there. But I can actually do that through here once I actually do that relations thing. So that's easy. So I've got that working. So I was very pleased with that. Another thing that bugged me as well is when I was looking at this, and I came across somebody else doing it, is I've got all my dates, and I was suddenly saying, well, you actually have to go and delete the days before, so you've only got your current date forward. In fact, what I found was that there's this nice little filter that's done based on the tab. Now, if I come into there, on the filter features, I can filter the date is on or after today. So therefore, it's going from that day forward. Now, there's a little bit of an anomaly here at the moment. It's going Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And if we actually look at the columns, it's going Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then later on, I think I've got some Saturday and Sundays down in here, so I might stretch them back the other way. So it's looking forward from today. So if my day started here, it would just ignore the ones before, so it would show them. So that's brilliant. You don't have to do any work. So that's actually another thing that is quite manageable, as long as I can get that Friday coming in and maybe the Saturday and the Sunday. And if I've got the Saturday and the Sunday, I can most probably do a day column. If it's so-and-so a day, hide it. But I want to hide it, and I actually want to include it for two reasons. I may suddenly have to, as I think I was talking in one of the other videos, was I may have a wedding party who have a wedding in the afternoon or the next day, and they actually have a whole load of people coming from all around the place. They just want to come through and get all the guys' haircuts so that they all look beautiful for the photos, or they need it before a certain time because of the photo up that they actually want to do. So there might be times when you actually want to release some of the weekend days, in which case, if you know that that's coming up, you might want to block off a Monday or a Tuesday after that to actually, or only have one person on there and suddenly saying, everybody, we've only got this person, so maneuver some people across to do that. But that's just all part of the adjustment process that you'd actually do. But I wanted to keep flexibility, because this app overall is about making reservations, and it's trying to make it flexible so that you can use a template in a lot of different ways, not only for a hairdresser or a nail salon or just a generic one really is what we want. But we actually want to add features and be able to do things with it. So as much as possible, leave it robust to do that. Now, the second thing which I asked myself through here, so that was one of the things through there. So I've got one which is this open one, and then I've got one which is for if you log in. Then I've started to think, and it's sort of bothering me about the open one, is that somebody malicious could quite easily just go and put a whole load of data in there and actually just block off all of the times available. And suddenly your regular clients and things like that can't get access to those things. You've got to go and clean out. You've got to go and check to see if that's a valid thing. Somebody's just got a bit shirty about you. So I was suddenly thinking, I don't want a totally open one. I want to be able to make it so that the app overall maybe does have some sort of access issue. That's maybe we've got to look at sign in. We've got to give somebody a password, or we've got to do the public with an email so that they fill in a form first of all. And if they fill in the form with their data, we can actually just do a text on their phone number or something just to check to see that that's right. So we can actually get a little bit of a validation in there, especially with new users who maybe, might have an odd name, or, or there's sort of something a little bit irregular. To a certain extent, what you want your main clients to actually get the best benefit, because they're the ones who are loyal, they're coming back all the time. So you want them to have one experience, and they've got to have a better experience than other people. So what you want to do is give them first dibs on all of the times available. So you can do that in a number of ways. So these are the thoughts that I've actually just got at this point in time. So there's a couple of ideas which I'm looking at, and I need to just mellow. This is why I quite like the cyclic idea of this, is it brings up other issues, and how would you do that? So there's a tier of quality. So maybe we make everybody sign in, but in the clients we also have a status column. Now a 3 might be N for new, a 2 might be an S for standard, and a V might be a VIP or a number 1. So there's a hierarchy of things that we can offer different services. For the number 3, they're off the street. We want to offer something quite attractive. Like if we just kind of give them the outliers that nobody wants, they're kind of saying, no, that isn't what I want. I want something reasonably comprehensive. Otherwise, I'm not going to engage with it at all. Every time I see it, I just get the dud times. So what I actually want to do is maybe offer them certain things, and generally what has been taken by the people in the more exclusive things. And we can do that in 2 or 3 ways I was thinking about, and then I was experimenting with this. The one way is that for the top people, you give them maybe 3 weeks out. So that means they can book 3 weeks in advance before anybody else, and you give them all times available. So they can actually take the best of the cream of the crops. But they've got to go and book in that one. For the average person who's the loyal stuff, you give them 2 weeks out, but you also give them everything that's still available all the way through there. And then for the new ones coming through, you actually, what you do is you give them 2 weeks out, but you block out certain ones which are more popular, like maybe 10 to 11 or 10 to 10:30 is the most popular time, and it's used by most of your regular customers. And then you have these other ones. Well, what you can actually do with that one inside here, if we just go through into here, you'll see, let's go a few days out from today. You'll see that there's no 10 o'clock. Now, if we go a couple of days back, so maybe Thursday, so it's Monday today, so Thursday, there's still no 10 o'clock. But when we come to Tuesday, the 10 o'clock is there. And if we come to Monday, the 10 o'clock is there. So what we're doing is we're saying to our regular customers, you have first choice on that. But if nobody chooses it, then we make it available within a certain period to anybody else. So we can actually do that. And the way that we actually do that is, I can't do it on, oh yes I can. If we just select, where's me boom? There's me 10. So there's my 10 o'clock form, and what I've done in the feature through here is show the component when 10 is empty, and the date is -2 is before today, and the date -2. So what I'm saying is 2 days before today, I think I might have that line, is before today, show it as being available. Or maybe it's 2 days, before or after today. So if today's Monday, show it on Monday and show it on Tuesday, and maybe show it on Wednesday or something like that. So I can set that date, and then I can actually make that available ones. So again, we can just block out things which are more exclusive. So the more popular ones we keep for our special people, and we give everything else. And then as it becomes closer to the time and nobody's actually used those particular ones, we can share them out to everybody else. So again, the most popular ones will still be hit most probably. So that's one thing that we can actually do there. So in some ways, for the people who are doing it, we're offering them less and we're offering the other people more. So that's where we can actually do a tier of via the filtering process. So that's that aspect of it. The day is on or after today. Did I discuss that? I've got the issue there with in the schedules. Sorry, I don't think I discussed it on the other schedules there. That it's missing at the moment. I've got a query in about that. It's only showing Monday through to Thursday, and then it's jumping to the next Monday or Thursday. It's not showing the Friday in there for some reason. I don't know why, because it's on or after today. Now, again, with this, you could get a bit more sophisticated if you wanted to improve your app over time, is that when we drill down and with Monday, and it's now 2 o'clock, hide all the ones before that haven't been used or whatever. So whatever's left over, just hide it. And the way that we could do that is... in the form button through here, we've got the condition through here of we can add another thing like the date is, if we actually, now you see it's there, if I actually put a date time there, then it actually says is on or before, and I've got two values. I've got one for date is on or before, and it can either be today or now. So you can actually use the now, but you actually have to do that. Whereas before, I'm just going to take that one there and delete it. Whereas the one before works on the whole layout, so the layout actually has the feature. When I drill down to the next level, unless that's an inline form, and I was wondering if I could somehow get those onto an inline form, I can't do that. I've got to do that filtering on each specific button. So it's quite a lot of hard work, and I don't know if it's thing. Again, if it's 2 o'clock, you know you're not going to book a 10 o'clock appointment, so you don't even bother with it. So it's something there, but you could conceal it. You know, from a business point of view, you don't want to show all these hollowed out ones that haven't been taken or anything like that. So it may be something that you make the effort to do on your app. So those are the thinking bits that I've got through. So I'm comfortable. The other thing that you do as well is, because it's bespoke, you've got their information. You can actually do a splash screen for them. Welcome whoever's logged in. Who have I got logged in here? George. Sorry, I'm on the wrong one. If I'm on this one here, and I'm actually just in the app side through here, this one's George Clooney. You can say, welcome George, you know, you've got a booking on so and so day, and it's all of this, so that information's just there right at the front. So as soon as they open it, they don't actually have to go and think, it's reminding them there. The other one is, I don't know whether, I haven't tried filling in it might be handy to do an email or a text thing through there. I don't know if you can do the text. I think the text just comes up with unless you don't know if you can do a message. But in the email, you might actually want to put some of that data into there so that you can actually ping it off to yourself as a reminder that comes through. You know, it's how you work. You know, some people work on phones, some people work on calendars, some people work. So whatever way works for them, you know, maybe there's ways of doing it, and they're things that you can refine over time. You know, but with the email stuff, I think in the email you can actually put some subject information on some of those, or subject and data and things, so that maybe you can actually just do some templating stuff and just have status and things, or whatever your next one is. So that's something that I've got to think about there, which is actually trying to do a more bespoke screen for the people who are logging in. For the people who are coming in, so these people are logging in, and I've already got them on my list of things. So these are the people who are logging in, and I've got their information. So they're doing the sign in public with email address, or I could give them a password, although you know, I think I'd actually just stick with the email, and then I'd leave it with the email and just that sort of thing. So you actually have your clients who you actually know, and for them you give them information. For the ones who come in and it's the first time they come into their app, which would be this one here, you would maybe have a form filling out point. So first, when they come in, there's the they've got to do the login, and then after that you ask for a bit more information about them so that you can populate them, and because they're a brand new one, they just get the end status in the column through there. So their client status starts at an N or a 3 or whatever we're actually doing. So it's rolling on. So we're getting into the point of we're having the first app, we're refining it so we're getting less evidence. We don't have to put a switch, we should just actually fill out the form, press the button, off it goes. Again, because if we've got the people's email address through here with the open app, isn't as open, it's more the new users that they've got to log in by an email. They can then they've then got all of their information, such that all they need to do at this point in time is, when we're actually in here, is they only have to give the same amount of information, because we've already got their data. So all we're getting off them is what specific service that they actually want. So the other idea that I possibly had here is with the services you offer. They've got the favorites icon, so there's ones that they can automatically go and choose as a favorites, or you can put favorites onto there. Well, I don't know if they've got to do it or you've got to do it, but you've got your favorite columns that sit at the top. Then you may want to shuffle some, see which ones they've got as favorites. I don't know if we can hold that anywhere, but you can actually review and maybe put some other ones up there that they might find attractive. Or you filter out only the ones, like they're not senior citizens, so you take those ones out, and they're clean shaven, so you don't bother with the beard. Or the eyebrow thing, there's ones that they don't do, and there's sort of like kids ones that they're suddenly thinking, no, we'll put the kids ones at the bottom. So maybe you reorder this based on the person, is that you'd actually start having maybe a number on this column through here. So at the beginning of those, you on the services, I could think about possibly having a number, and then in each one you'd actually have a string of what the numbers methods go through, or a way of actually just filtering or doing something so that they see the ones that are more relevant to them. Another one that I was thinking with the pricing as well is that you've got more experienced people and you've got less experienced people, and so you can actually change the prices according to the people with the experience. So the people who want to have the more experienced person, they're prepared to pay more. The other thing that you could actually do is that you could reduce the price of the inexperienced ones further to try and see if you can migrate some of the people, and they might be price sensitive clients, such that you'd migrate them across from somebody who's overcommitted to somebody who's undercommitted. So that's another mechanism that maybe you could use through that particular way of doing it. Now, I still haven't figured out how to do how to define a double block through there. And it is at this point in time, it's not. As I said, it's a general app. Maybe I can get that flexibility in there, maybe I can't. But overall, I think it's functional on the initial side in a way. What I've actually put up there, it's got the tools to actually do a simple little booking app. If you're not confident in giving it to the clients, you can actually just use it yourself and actually make their bookings over a phone using that sort of thing. The next level that is going to be, so after I've sort of tweaked a few of these things and explored some of them, I'll end up with a second app, which will actually be a more bespoke one for people who are returning customers. And then I'd be looking at doing an administration one, of which they can go and delete a booking. So somebody has run through and they're suddenly saying, I've got a booking, but I can't make it. I've actually found that I've got a double book with a dental appointment or a brain surgery or something. So can you book me for another time? So you can delete their booking and say, go and choose another time. Thanks very much. So all you need to do is just be able to do the deleting. You don't want them doing the deleting. You actually want to have that control, that sort of thing. Another thing is in that I'd almost like to do, there's not part of the actual app itself, but just look at using Google Sheets to actually merge the bookings between 3 or 4 different places, and look at the process of doing that so that you actually have an analytics page with maybe some actually that's the thing, with a chart, so that each one can actually see how much of their bookings have actually been taken up, depending on how many are actually allocated for those particular people. So there's maybe you can actually do some charts just to see performance and things, and suddenly saying we need to go out and market, so just go and start dragging people off the streets and beating them up, and then we can actually make sure that we're getting to the level of sustainability that we need to do, or profitability that we need to do. So maybe that we need to start looking at some analytics through that, and that might be quite a nice fun thing. So we've got one for people who come in from the outside. We're offering them a lesser service, but we also want to make sure that we're protected with them. We've got our regulars, of maybe we give them 2 tiers, that we can actually start suddenly giving them something special, and we can book them out, and we book other ones out. Instead of booking them out for 2 weeks, we can give them 3 weeks forward workload, such that they can actually do. And they get first dibs on a lot of the more popular ones, or the most popular times that are actually coming through. Then also maybe another one is to actually put up specials. So maybe that's where we can start using this front page to actually inform them of what they've actually booked just recently, or what's coming up, and then maybe of what specials are coming up, because maybe we want to start building up another part of the business and actually developing another couple of services that maybe we can put them on a special to actually get some attractiveness through there. So some refinements going through, and a dashboard. Actually, the dashboard thing sounds quite cool. And one thing that I'm actually quite interested in is actually seeing if I can migrate this data. I want to play with Firebase. I want to play with Google Sheets, and I want to play with Firebase. So it's not really a template, but it's something that I actually want to explore. Anyway, I hope that's been of interest to you. Thank you very much for watching. If you found it useful, give it a thumbs up. If not, don't.